15 murders in just the last 7 days. I'm going to take you through all those details. As always, the headlines first. Karnataka Cabinet approves filing of criminal cases against Royal Challengers Bangalore and Karnataka State Cricket Association for gross negligence based on the Justice Michael D. Kona Commission's findings in Bangalore stampede case. Kannada actress Rania Rao sent to jail for 1 year in gold smuggling case. No bail allowed under COFSPA for her. Nipah virus scare continues to escalate in Kerala with a fresh case confirmed in Palakkad district. The latest patient is a 32-year-old son of the man who recently died from the infection. The virus is fast spreading, but Kerala government at this point handling it well, ensuring that they are tracking back to all the first primary contacts. In response to the tragic death of Balasore student, Congress party in Odisha and several other political groups have called for a 12-hour statewide bandh. We saw shops and establishments today that were shut. A complete bandh there in most parts of Odisha. 5-member crime branch team, meanwhile, is investigating the case further. Justice Yashwant Verma has challenged the Supreme Court's in-house panel report months after half-burnt currency was found at his official residence in Delhi following a fire in March. Furious over waterlogged pothole stretch outside school, schoolgirls in West Bengal hit the streets in Bengal's Mahesh Tala. Frustrated by the poor condition of the roads leading to their school, they blocked the road, calling it a death trap, and protested, standing right there. Bangladesh's foreign ministry issues clarification over demolition of Satyajit Ray's ancestral property. Says detailed inquiry reconfirms the building being demolished has no historical or familial link to Satyajit Ray or his ancestors. 7.3 magnitude earthquake struck off the coast of US state of Alaska, triggering a tsunami warning. Authorities issued a tsunami warning for South Alaska and Alaska Peninsula. We saw some scary visuals that came in at the start of the day today. UK set to lower voting age from 18 to 16 years by next general elections. Prime Minister Keir Starmer says 16-year-olds earn, they pay taxes, so they deserve a voice in democracy. All right, let me cut across to our top story here. Bihar, Jungle Raj that's now returned quite obviously with the number of killings that have been reported in the last week or more, leaves us to believe that this is nothing but Jungle Raj in the state. It's brazen and chilling, terrifying reminder of how emboldened criminals have become in Bihar. In broad daylight, this is what happened today. On camera, CCTV cameras caught 4 men walking into Paris Hospital in Patna, Bihar. Very calm, not showing any hurry, with weapons, guns in their hands. They head straight to the ICU, push open the door and fire multiple rounds at a patient inside. One can imagine the brazenness, no fear of consequences. These men walk in to that private hospital and carry out this murder and just walk out without showing any panic or rush or resistance or, of course, no fear of law. In fact, the victim we hear, Chandan Mishra, was no innocent man himself. A gangster. Chandan Mishra has dozens of murder cases against him. He was in fact on parole. He was on medical parole from Bihar jail when he was gunned down inside that private hospital. He was out at that hospital taking treatment on parole when these gangsters came in, killed him and walked away. The hospital is located in Patna's busy Raja Bazaar area where hundreds walk in every day. And that spot turned into a crime scene at 7:30 a.m. Police suspect old gang rivalry. But what doesn't explain, what really can explain this sheer audacity? What does it say about the state's law enforcement when 4 men can carry out an execution inside a hospital and escape without a trace? They just walk in and walk out. In the past 13 days alone, 16 murders have been reported in Bihar. 16, and that's in just 13 days. ICU killing is now added to this list. It's the latest in the spree of these murders that's left Bihar looking completely lawless. The opposition has pounced. RJD's Tejasvi Yadav says Bihar is now a crime capital of the country, and the numbers are hard to ignore. A whopping 1,376 murders have happened in Bihar in just the first 6 months of 2025. Listen in.
यहाँ लॉयर्स की हत्या हो रही है, डॉक्टर्स की हत्या हो रही है, इंजीनियर्स की हत्या हो रही है, नेताओं की हत्या हो रही है, पुलिस के लोगों की हत्या हो रही है, व्यवसायिकों की हत्या हो रही है, घर में घुस के गोली मारी जा रही है, दफ्तर में घुस के गोली मारी जा रही है, अस्पताल में घुस के गोली मारी जा रही है, दुकानों में घुस करके गोली मारी जा रही है। लोग तो अपराधी तो सड़क पे हैं, ये पताल में कहाँ जा रहे ढूंढने भाई? तो हमने तो पहले भी कहा, इन लोगों ने एनडीए के आने के बाद जो है लॉ एंड ऑर्डर का क्रिमिनल डिसऑर्डर हो चुका है, अपराधी विजय हो चुके हैं और सम्राट हो चुके हैं, यही हकीकत है।
Now remember, this isn't a one-off case. It's starting to really look like a deadly pattern now. A free run for these gangsters, a breakdown of law without fear of consequences. The state's top cop, ADGP Kundan Krishnan, shockingly has offered an explanation that he thinks is plausible. That murders are peaking in Bihar during the months of May and June due to idle farmers. Here's what he said.
मई जून में ज़्यादा मर्डर होते आई है वर्षों से। अप्रैल मई जून, जब तक बरसात नहीं होती है ये सिलसिला जारी रहता है, क्योंकि ज़्यादातर किसान को कोई काम नहीं रहता है। एक बरसात होने के बाद लोग, कृषक समाज के लोग व्यस्त हो जाते हैं और घटनाएं घटती है।
पारस हॉस्पिटल में जो गोली चली है, हत्या हुई है, अभी कल भी मैंने आप लोगों को कहा है कि बिहार में कानून व्यवस्था की स्थिति लगातार बिगड़ेगी, अभी और बिगड़ेगी। इसलिए बिगड़ेगी कि पूरा पुलिस प्रशासन तो शराब से पैसा कमाने में, बालू माफियाओं के साथ साठगांठ करके पैसा कमाने में, घूस लेने में लगा हुआ है। जितने मंत्री हैं, जितने सरकार के लोग हैं, वो ट्रांसफर पोस्टिंग में करोड़ों रुपए का उगाही कर रहे हैं। तो आप जब पुलिस वाले शराब और बालू से पैसा कमाने में लगे हैं, तो कानून व्यवस्था का काम कब करेंगे?
All right, well, Bihar, is it really under Gunda Raj, as the opposition says? Joining me live tonight is Ajit Jha, senior journalist. We also have Manish Bariyar, who's a spokesperson of the BJP, Professor Anwar Pasha, spokesperson of the RJD. I'm shocked to see what I see here in Patna, where assailants just walk into an ICU at a private hospital, shoot and walk out. It's for me unbelievable to think that the hospital did not have enough security. How could they leave men unregistered to walk into the hospital? Were the security guards also party to this? How did that hospital not have levels of security? It's said to be a well-known hospital. Then what really happened? And what's even more surprising here is that you have Union Minister Majhi, who says in justification that it's a private hospital and this is gang rivalry, almost trivializing the case itself. Before I get to our guests, I'm going to take you through what the Union Minister Majhi said.
पारस हॉस्पिटल कोई सरकारी संस्था नहीं है, वो निजी संस्था है। वहाँ का क्या प्रतिबंध उन लोगों का रहा है, उन लोगों को सोचना चाहिए। अब घुस करके मारा है तो किसी साधु को नहीं मारा है, आपस में गैंगवार का मामला है। वो लोग तो कहीं भी कुछ कर ले सकते हैं। सरकारी महकमे में, सरकारी अस्पताल में रहता है, अगर बात होती तो मैं कर सकता हूँ, लेकिन उसके बावजूद भी घटना घटी है। आप देखें कि चाहे जो भी घटना घटी है उसकी त्वरित कार्रवाई होती है।
There you have it. Manish Bariyarji, if I could bring you in on this. It's shocking to see what I see, and we hear 13 murders that have happened in the last few days, and this being the latest added to that list. It's not something Bihar wants to boast of under your governance a year before elections.
Of course, good evening to you and my co-panelists as well as the viewers. So nobody takes pride in these kind of killings. Obviously, it is a matter of concern. But I felt that you were a bit harsh when you were talking about General Raj. I feel that that is something which is better left to Lalu days. It was very, very bad. Nobody wants those days back to Bihar. But I would say that Manji ji was quite right when he said what he said, and I don't think it should be trivialized. Was he not right when he said that what was the hospital doing? Because he was on parole, so it was not responsibility of police. He was not under police protection, right? So there's a lot of question mark on how the hospital allowed 5 people, because in ICU nobody can go without any kind of anyone collusion. 5 people, you are normally allowed 1 person. So how come 5 people went? So obviously there must be some hospital people with them, and that's how they got this free access. Otherwise it was not possible, and it's a very big hospital. You try getting into an ICU. Yeah. Because we as a family, I belong to Patna, I stay in Patna, so we have gone. It is not possible for any person to go to ICU just like that. So there is a lapse of hospital administration. There's no doubt over it. But it is unfortunate. But at the same time, I would like to say something which I was there in the earlier program where I was saying that if you look at 2000, and see, data is something which is, I'm not being insensitive, but if you compare last year's data with this year's data of crime, then you will find that it has actually come down. If you look at in my nearby state Jharkhand, where Congress government is there, and along with JMM, then you will find that it is 3 times the number of murders which happens in Jharkhand, which is very, very rare. But then Jharkhand leads the country when it comes to number of murders. Now, this is not to justify that what is happening in Bihar is something which can be taken anything lightly. But then the number of murders in Bihar is not something, and you have to also look at 15 crore population. It is not something which is out of the order when you compare with similar population with the rest of the country. And if you have some data, please throw me those data, because I saw those data and I felt that it was not out of context. Now, this is election time.
Not out of the blue. You're saying Bihar is so used to these kind of episodes that
absolutely not. I think
lawlessness has been internalized. You're saying that the data that we are providing to you is not out of the blue. It's basically normalized.
No, it is not like that. But you have to also look at national average. Right, so you have to compare, don't make Bihar an exception to this entire rule. Then you have to talk the entire country is happening. And
you talk for your state. We'll get to the rest of the country when we have to. You speak about your state. This is a well-known hospital as per your view. As per your view, this is a well-known hospital. These are people, 5 men walking into an ICU, gunning down and walking off. In fact, we are showing visuals of them leaving the ICU. They are not even running. They are not even running.
UPA rule, did it not happen in JJ hospital?
Is that your defense, sir? Is that your defense?
So it didn't happen. So are you saying that this is
what are the okay? So all right. I'm going to say that the UPA has been the worst government that India could have had. What have you done, learning from their mistakes?
So what we have done is that during UPA in Bihar there were 6,000 killings per year. From there it has now come down to 3,000.
I will bring in Ajit. He's a journalist. He could probably do justice in explaining to us what's the real national average when it comes to murders. I mean, the numbers that we've given here, 1,300 odd murders since the start of 2025 to now in Bihar alone. It's shocking to me, but it seems like the BJP spokesperson says not out of the blue when it's compared to national average.
Well, let me put it this way, that if you double up that trend, first 6 months, 1,300 something. So if you double up that trend, it almost comes to the same as the last few years. So the fact that our spokesman is saying that it's a lot less, that's not quite true. At the same time, look, there is no argument here that the law and order situation in Bihar is bad right now. If you are having 16 murders in 13 days, if you just take that figure, you can't just run away and say, well, this is a gang war. So the former Chief Minister Jitan Ram Majhi saying that is he's being rather irresponsible. Secondly, See, every time when you tell the BJP that in the last 20 years, the NDA government, under the NDA government, the crime situation is bad, they turn around and say Jungle Raj. Now think of the first time voter. Forget us. The first time voter was born and under the Nitish Raj, right? Or right before that. So if they go and vote, they have no memory of Jungle Raj. So the BJP goes on sort of, comparing the Jungle Raj. Remember, during the Lalu days, for the first 10 years, Bihar and Jharkhand were together. So when
the government here today has tarnished of Lalu's own doing as well, has tarnished his image. The RJD has had a reputation of Jungle Raj and they have been booted out of power. Now, what has the BJP alliance, the NDA alliance done there to better that average?
Is that question to me?
You can answer.
Yeah, Nabila ji, what we have done is that there are no organized caste killings, there are no organized gangs out there.
Sir, this looks like an organized gang right here to me. What I see on my television looks like an organized gang.
Absolutely not. I can reel names after names who were infamous in the entire country. You name one gangster like that in Bihar now. There were a number of them, and most importantly, they were under protection of the government itself. Right? So there is some leader right now, very important leader in Bihar. He talked about one of the biggest criminals India has seen, Zindabad. So that's the kind of attitude that government was there. So it is very important for us to remind the people of Bihar that what kind of government that was. That was an unprecedented government, never found anywhere in this country.
So I have not seen anything exceptional coming from the NDA in Bihar to ensure that these are clamped down on. They may not be one big gangster because it's modern India. We've also moved towards development in many ways. People are more educated. So glorified gangsters are no more anywhere in the country, not just in Bihar. But that said, organized networks are very much alive, and this looks like an organized network to me.
I would disagree with you, Nabila ji.
Right.
I would disagree.
Sure.
You have Lawrence Bishnoi, you have so many of them in different parts of the country. Right. So you have to give credit to also to the Bihar government
Lawrence Bishnoi
it had some impact on the law and order. And fast court.
Lawrence Bishnoi is in prison. We understand that he's still carrying out these crimes and threats. We don't know how he's doing it, but he's also in prison right now. But that said, what Yogi Adityanath is doing in neighboring state, if you want to take examples of Jharkhand, you're talking about Congress. Well, let me give you an example of the BJP itself. Uttar Pradesh is doing a fairly decent job in clamping down on gangsters. Why is there a lesson not learned from there?
So, of course, in Bihar, you do not have that kind of an organized crime the way, UP is clamping down. In Bihar also, the same thing has happened. And over a period of last 20 years, you can look at, you would not find that kind of an organized gangster or organized crime in Bihar. And not necessarily.
This is entirely organized. I find it hard to believe that you're not seeing how organized and meticulous this murder at Paris Hospital was. Professor Anwar Pasha, who's a spokesperson of RJD or the opposition, you're constantly being blamed, saying we are far better than the Lalu period. That these gangsters are basically your giving.
This is very interesting that the people who are promoting crime today in Bihar. Today, Bihar has become the #1 state in the country as far as the murders are concerned, rapes are concerned, lootings are concerned. And they are talking of Jungle Raj 20 years back. This shows their seriousness, how serious they are, how concerned they are to control the crime in Bihar, especially, and in Patna especially. Patna has become the crime hub, the crime capital. It is known as crime capital now. Although it is happening all over Bihar, but see the situation of law and order in Patna and how they are justifying it. This is new normal for Bihar. This is not abnormal for Bihar. They are saying this. They are justifying it. These are gang wars. These are private wars. The private matters, like our one of the ministers was telling it, that two people are sitting there true friends are sitting there, and if one kills another, it is not a crime at all. He's trying to justify the crime. This is emboldening the morale of criminals. And just see the statement of our ADG, what he's saying. He is blaming it the farmers of Bihar, the Annadata farmers. He's saying that the farmers are criminal because they do not have work during this period of May and June. They involved in crimes.
I don't understand. What is that? I want to bring in. I want to bring in
farmers.
This
is insult of farmers. This is the insult of farmers of Bihar.
What does it mean when a police officer says that this is seasonal?
The should apologize to the farmers of Bihar.
He should, absolutely. What does it mean when the cop says?
Apologize to the farmers of Bihar.
Ajit, if you can break it down for in simple terms for our viewers to understand, what does it mean?
This insult of our farmers cannot be tolerated.
What does it mean when a cop? When a police says that this is a seasonal murder, that farmers are idle between the months of May and June, so they are committing crimes like murders. This is so bizarre.
You see, what he's doing is he's basically looking at some numbers in front of him. There might be a spike in the number of murders during this period of April, May, June, and therefore he's coming to the conclusion, and the conclusion is very interesting. He links it straight to farmers. He could have talked about that criminals have no activity at that time, but instead of doing that, he links it to farmers. That's a serious allegation, and it reflects a very, very sick mindset. Even if he's the ADG of Bihar, he should have had more decency than making an outlandish statement like that. The figures don't show that the criminals are farmers. The figure perhaps shows that there is a spike in the number of murders during April, May, and June. But having said that, I think none of us paid attention, at least our panelists did not, the BJP panelist, to what Prashant Kishore said, and I have repeated that. I have just traveled across Bihar for the last 6 weeks, and the sand mafia has made life miserable. You know, I just entered Bihar from UP by road and moved up from Buxar to Ara, Chhapra. That entire road has been taken over by the sand mafia and the liquor mafia. You know, there is prohibition in Bihar, but everywhere you can buy alcohol. All around, people tell me about that. I'm a journalist. People come to me and tell me about it. And the reason is that the police is in collusion. The police is actually selling the liquor all over Bihar. So that point Prashant Kishore made, if you talk to people are making. And last time when I made this point, one of the BJP spokesperson said, well, the mafia people are actually, from a certain political party. Well, even if they are, it is the job of the law and order. The Home Minister, who is also the Chief Minister, he should be ensuring that they are inside. The fact that you can't drive safely in, many parts of Bihar, some parts of Bihar, the roads are being expanded. In the others, the sand mafia controls the entire roads. So again, the moment you raise the question, they'll sort of compare it to the Lalu Raj 20 years ago. I think it is an escape. The truth is, law and order situation is bad, and so are no jobs, migration is high. The real issues in Bihar right now are these, the decline in education, the decline in health. All these I don't have to repeat because there are enough figures going around. The moment you raise it, 20 years the NDA has ruled, 17 years in collusion with the BJP, and yet the BJP will immediately raise this narrative of the Jungle Raj because they want to tell their voters, if you vote the RAD, you will have the so-called the crime of that period returned.
No, but this is acting against the NDA. Manish, absolutely. Is the government here prioritizing political survival over actual policing and safety?
Absolutely not. But it is important. मैं याद दिलाना चाहता हूँ दो event because it is important for me to put it to viewers, everyone. Because I was not speaking, but now that Mr. Ajit Jha has said, क्यों जंगल राज इतना ज्यादा बोलते हैं? अभी लीडर ऑफ ऑपोजिशन उन्होंने शहाबुद्दीन, जिन्होंने 2 लोगों को जिंदा एसिड में डाल करके मार दिया था, उसके लिए अभी जिंदाबाद जिंदाबाद. तो जिस पार्टी का लीडर एंड द लीडर ऑफ ऑपोजिशन अगर वो जाकर के सब लोगों के बीच में जिंदाबाद कराए एक नॉन क्रिमिनल को, हार्डेंड क्रिमिनल जिसने 2 लोगों को जिंदा जला दिया, जो तिहाड़ जेल में बंद होकर के वो वहीं पर मर गया, तो आप सोच सकते हैं क्या जंगल राज है। और भी बोल सकता हूं, जहां पर चीफ मिनिस्टर किडनैपिंग के केसेस को खुद सेटल करता था। तो जंगल राज को आप ट्रिविलाइज मत कीजिए। जंगल राज एक्चुअली जंगल राज था, अजीत जी को भी पता है, वो बोल रहे हैं ठीक है।
So if you are speaking about Jungle Raj under Lalu with so much conviction, you have not. Yeah, well, you sure do.
Doesn't mean that people will forget Jungle Raj.
But sir, but you are not allowing people to forget it. You are in power right now.
20 years, 25 years.
But sir, you are in power right now. You are not allowing people to forget it. Look what you have not done. You have not. What have you done?
Do you allow people to forget Jallianwala
You are
Bagh?
not allowing anyone to forget it because it continues even under your regime.
It is not like that. I think you don't understand. You had to live that era to understand what that Jungle Raj was.
I'm in modern India enough to be shocked with this in a hospital. Obviously, where you have. I could very well have been inside that hospital at this point.
I'm not even defending that. Absolutely not. But then do not trivialize it by using that word Jungle Raj.
All right. They were glorified criminals at that point. You have modernized criminals now under your regime. That's all I can say. Whatever I see here, 16 murders in 13 days. How many of them have been cracked?
So number of these murders have been personal enmities. These are unfortunate. Right, so you have to also look at each and every case, why it happened.
This is all
even
rubbish justification of murder.
Gopal Khemka one.
This is rubbish argument. Justification of murder. You are doing justification. You are trying to justify the murder. You are trying to shade the murderers.
But then
you have no answer to offer.
Other cases.
Where is the chief minister? Where is the home minister?
Sir, I would give you an example of your own party in Uttar Pradesh. I'm not for bulldozer action, but well, that's what happens there. Bulldozer action happens. Properties are being seized. If you are a criminal with a criminal record, there's a strict crackdown there. What kind of measures are you taking here in Bihar?
So obviously, if you look at every incident that has happened, police has acted very swiftly. An example of that once Mr. Khemka was murdered, police took action and now the person is behind bars. In every case, police is after those criminals.
These 5 assailants, it's been
working to ensure that these
over
criminals
12
are behind
hours.
bars.
Sir, any word on these 5 assailants? The way they've come, their faces are all caught on CCTV cameras. Any word on them?
So right now, as of now, I do not have any information, so I won't be able to comment on that. But I'm sure police is after it. It would take a couple of days, but they should be behind bars very fast.
Okay. Thank you very much. I really appreciate all of you joining us, and thank you, Manish, for answering those questions. Of course, you are the spokesperson. It's the government right now that's firefighting all the criticism that's coming in the way. It's a year ahead of elections in Bihar, and this could really be negative publicity, and that's what we see panning out. Let's just hope these culprits are behind bars at the earliest. Thank you for joining us on that. On that note, we're slipping into a short commercial break. I will be right back with our top stories on day tonight. Karnataka partial band being announced over UPI payments. Traders receiving tax notices on GST. Many traders very upset with these notices. I'm going to take you through that story on the other side.
एसोसिएट स्पॉन्सर डायना प्रीमियम ब्यूटी सोप, पहली झलक करे खूबसूरत।
रास्ता है वही शहर, बदले हैं नजारे या नजर।
चाचा, इतना सारा पानी, ट्यूबवेल, बिजली तो आती जाती है, ये सब अपना सूरज है ना, सब उसका कमाल है। सूरज
तो कब आए अभी लाइट से?
अरे वाह ताई, पहचान गई। शहर जाके आँख का ऑपरेशन करा लिया क्या?
शहर जाए मेरी जूती, मैंने यहीं अपने गांव में ही करवा लिया। वो जो सूरज है ना अपना, वो सब कर रहा है।
अरे राकेश, अरे वाह छोटी, ये स्कूल में सीखा?
इंटरनेट पे।
इंटरनेट?
हाँ, सूरज भैया है ना।
कौन है ये सूरज भैया?
आपको उनसे मिलना है क्या?
हाँ
चलो, वो रहे सूरज भैया।
हम सूरज से सिर्फ बिजली नहीं बनाते हैं, खुशहाली को देश के कोने कोने तक भी पहुंचाते हैं। अदानी, हम करके दिखाते हैं.
What is to the nines? In literal terms, it's perfection. But to us, it's not just a phrase, it's an attitude. One that starts at your desk and sends a statement to the world. To the nines is about taking charge. It's a way of life where every scene, every fold, is crafted with excellence. It's timeless elegance and uncompromising quality made for the corner office. It's the ideas that inspire redefining order and elevating the tabletop. To the nines, for the leaders of today and the visionaries of tomorrow.
Welcome back. Let me take you through our top story here on Day to Night. Bengaluru, a city that once led India's digital payment revolution, is now pushing back. Karnataka, on July 25th, small traders across the state have decided to go on a partial bandh. This includes bakeries, condiment stalls, petty shops, all that are downing shutters, we hear, over GST tax notices that they've received. Vendors who once embraced UPI are now pulling down QR codes, putting up signs that read, "No UPI, only cash." Now, what sparked this anger is the Karnataka Commercial Taxes Department that's reportedly issued GST notices to over 14,000 unregistered traders because their UPI payments from 2021 to 2022 exceeded 20 to 40 lakhs, which is the GST threshold. Traders say that they're being penalized all for going digital. Many of them claim that they didn't even know UPI collections would be treated as formal turnover, especially for payments that they made in the past. Fear is at this point gripped Karnataka traders. Vendors are now switching back to cash. Many are scared of tax raids and penalties. Some even fear eviction from civic authorities. Partial Karnataka bandh on July 25th is a warning shot. Small businesses say that they are being punished for something that the government had once encouraged them to do, to basically go digital. Of course, we will be tracking the story very closely as a partial bandh has been declared on the 25th by Karnataka traders, pushing for the government to exempt them, to exempt small traders from these tax GST notices. Now shifting focus to Assam's Goalpara that erupts after eviction drive landed in clashes between the locals there and the police. In fact, one person has been killed in the police firing as well. Tensions have exploded into deadly violence in Assam's Goalpara this morning in the Paikan Reserve Forest area, where an eviction drive is currently underway. A clash broke out between forest officials and the local residents there, leaving one person dead and another critically injured. Forest and police teams had arrived with JCB machines to block the roads that basically lead to the forest area. The forest officials and the cops call it encroached land. But emotions were running high. Many of the 1,080 families that were evicted had also come back to those areas because they had their homes there. They were clinging on to whatever they had left behind. What we hear is there are nearly 2,070 concrete homes there, and they've all been living there for decades. Officials began removing those shelters. Tempers flared. Stones, sticks, bricks were all reportedly hurled in retaliation as the police there came for that eviction drive. And that's when the situation got tense and the police fired shots, either of self-defense or forest officials there basically responding to that violence and aggression shown by the locals. Ultimately landed up in police firing some shots and one person killed. Sokovar Hussain has died. Another man, Kumshuddin Sheikh, is currently battling for life. Multiple others who are injured in this clash. Additional forces have been deployed, but tensions do remain on the edge. But of course, many questions being asked if this is indeed encroached land. It's basically an order that's been given from the High Court itself that this land is encroached and it needs to be vacated. Notices were also given to these people, for 2 notices, one in December, another recently. And now locals there asking if this land is really encroached land, then why were we given voters ID in the first place? Why are there schools in that area? Why are roads being made? Electricity supply was on, water pipelines were in place. Why was this a full-fledged community if this was encroached land? All government infrastructure that was provided to them for so many decades. Locals asking if the government now turning a blind eye to the 2 years of them living there. And if at all eviction now is happening, what's the alternative for them? Eviction continues across Assam. Over 50,000 people have been removed since 2021. Families are at this point claiming that they're being pushed out for no fault of theirs. Where's the arrangement for rehabilitation? That's the big question here. High Court may have cleared the eviction, but for those being pushed out, this clearly is not just any piece of land, it's their home and it's been so for decades. This is of course a developing story. We will keep a track on this closely.
Public sab firing kori ase, phaka guli mari ase, maiki gilako pitai ase. Apnalok sak, light to sak. Pura guli firing kori ase.
All right, shifting our focus to the Bengaluru stampede case. It appears now that a report that was submitted by a government-formulated panel has pointed all fingers on RCB and the Karnataka State Cricket Association. Now, the blame, it appears, the Bengaluru stampede case falls on RCB, one of India's most high-profile IPL teams, and the Karnataka State Cricket Association after a bombshell report has exposed some serious irregularities in their functioning. The report that was prepared by retired Judge Michael Likuna has triggered a massive shake-up. Remember, this panel was set up by the government of Karnataka itself. And this report that was recently tabled by the Karnataka cabinet today itself, ministers have unanimously backed legal action against both these entities, RCB and the Karnataka Cricket Association. The findings go beyond administrative lapses. They hint at possible financial fraud and regulatory violations. The government has pointed to a series of lapses, including a public video appeal by cricketer Virat Kohli, where it said, where he basically asked for people to come join in the celebrations. That report basically pointing fingers at Virat Kohli as well, along with RCB, saying that that's what drew crowds, overwhelming crowds. Despite police denying permission for the event, RCB and Virat Kohli went ahead and invited people to come join in the celebrations. The cricketing bodies aren't alone under scanner here. The report also claims the police too are responsible, accusing several police officers of deliberately looking the other way or failing to act when they should have. Disciplinary action has been recommended by the Karnataka government against these entities, RCB, Karnataka Cricket Association and the police, and say that even criminal charges should be filed against them. The Karnataka government says it's taking the matter very seriously and preparing for a legal crackdown on both the cricketing institutions and errant police officers. What's shocking here, though, is that the report does not hold the Karnataka government accountable at all. Of course, that was expected. But it's shocking, despite the fact that several state ministers, including the Chief Minister, Siddaramaiah and Deputy DK Shivkumar, were very actively part of this entire event, the government is not responsible. They claim that we have no role to play in this mess. No questions asked here in this report, of course, against the government, because clearly it's a government set-up committee that has presented this report. So, not surprised if this shows bias here. All right, here's a sad story, a very shocking story and deeply heartbreaking, coming from Rajasthan's Sikar. 9-year-old Prachi Kumawat, a very bright class 4 student, collapsed and died during her lunch break at school in Danta town. That little girl there, her image on our screen. Just another regular day that she was having. She was eating from her tiffin when she suddenly slumped into classroom and fell unconscious. Teachers rushed her to the local community health center but was too late. There was no pulse and no blood pressure either. She wasn't breathing. Doctors tried CPR for over an hour and a half. They couldn't revive her. Her family then took her to a bigger, better hospital in Sikar, but Prachi was declared brought dead. Now what makes this really alarming here is that doctors have found no signs of congenital heart disease. No prior symptoms of any kind of heart disease that she may have had before, but we hear she died of multiple heart attacks. She had multiple heart attacks. No warning signs at all. Sudden cardiac arrest in that child, and that's left the entire medical fraternity in us shocked.
हमारे पास हॉस्पिटल के अंदर स्कूल के टीचर्स और स्टाफ उस बच्ची को 9 साल की बच्ची को लेके आए। उस टाइम पर बच्ची बेहोशी हालत में थी और बच्ची गैस्पिंग में थी, सांस में दिक्कत हो रही थी, बीपी पल्स नहीं आ रहे थे और हार्ट उसका बंद था। फिर हमने उसको तुरंत ही सीपीआर चालू किया और ऑक्सीजन लगवाया और इंजेक्शन ड्रिप जो इमरजेंसी ड्रग्स है वो हमने उसे सारे उसको उस टाइम लगवाई। सारे स्टाफ ने अपनी तरफ से खूब कोशिश की और हमने कंडीशन स्थिति ज्यादा खराब होने की वजह से एम्बुलेंस बुला करके उसको सिक रेफर किया था। फिर बाद में ऐसे दूसरे लोगों से पता चला कि उसकी ऐसे वो एक्सपायर हो गई थी।
Very, very sad to hear her principal remembering Prachi said that she was very bright. She could recite multiplication tables until 40, always smiling, full of life. Really heartbreaking.
प्राची कुमार जो कि कक्षा 4 में अध्ययनरत थी, प्रातःकाल 7:30 बजे विद्यालय जब प्रारंभ होता तो पहली घंटी में वो एकदम से क्लास में बैठी थी, एकदम स्वस्थ थी। भोजन वेला में जैसे ही भोजन वेला हुई और उसने अपना टिफिन खोला, टिफिन एक तरफ गिर गया और बच्ची एक तरफ गिर गई। हमें तुरंत जैसे पता लगा, हम उसको बच्ची को तुरंत हॉस्पिटल ले गए। हॉस्पिटल में पूरी डॉक्टर सुभाष वर्मा की टीम ने, पूरे हॉस्पिटल की सारी जो टीम थी उसने मेहनत करके और बच्ची को सीपीआर देने का प्रयत्न किया, लेकिन
Now I'll show you a small video showing the girl's final moments. Basically, she shot a video where you can see her smiling, introducing herself and walking away.
अपना नाम बोलो। प्राची कुंभावत। कौन सी क्लास में हैं? और पहाड़ी कहाँ तक आते हैं? अपना नाम बोलो। प्राची कुंभावत। कौन सी क्लास में हैं? और पहाड़ी कहाँ तक आते हैं?
Yeah, that girl never returned. Cases like these are rare, but they are rising. Sudden unexplained cardiac arrests in children. Are we missing early signs here? Is there something that we're not screening for? We know that India does not routinely test school children for cardiac health. Maybe it's time we did. No parent should ever want to send a child healthy to school and get them back lifeless. Rest in peace to this little girl. A quick look at what's happened at the Jammu Medical College, a government hospital today. Very disturbing scenes that came in from Jammu's government medical college that's exposed yet again the vulnerability of our doctors. A patient's death sparked absolute mayhem inside the emergency ward of that hospital, where a junior doctor was assaulted by grieving family members. Visuals now going viral show a woman kicking and punching a female doctor right inside the hospital as chaos unfolds. In fact, the doctor was on duty. She was trying to do her job, trying to explain to the family members. But, well, 60-year-old Rajendra Kumar from Rehari Colony had suffered a severe brain hemorrhage. After initial treatment at PGI Chandigarh, he was brought to GMC Jammu on July 11th. Despite efforts, he died. And, well, his family is seen outraged. His death turned into grief, and then family fully raged, rushed into the emergency ward. The family alleges medical negligence, stormed the emergency ward and violently confronted the hospital staff. In the scuffle, the female relative attacked and kicked the junior doctor. CCTV footage has triggered massive outrage. Doctors have now gone on a flash strike. Emergency services were hit as the entire fraternity condemned the attack and demanded action. Now, the GMC administration has called the incident as unacceptable. Heads of the departments here have in fact stepped in to restore services, but the damage has already been done. Jammu and Kashmir Chief Minister Omar Abdullah has called for strict action in the doctor's assault case. Violence against doctors, we know, is cognizable, non-bailable offence. It must not be normalized. right, on that note, let's slip into a short commercial break. We'll be right back. Stay with us.
एसोसिएट स्पॉन्सर एंकर टूथपेस्ट, नए जमाने की नई सुरक्षा।
We are in the extremely health conscious age, and there is so much talk of eating foods that have low glycemic index, and you're already seeing rice hitting the market with like low glycemic index rice and all that. Is that also something that you work on?
So what we've done is that we've created another brand within our portfolio from KRBL, which is called India Gate Up Life. Now this brand has gotten into play with a new category, and this is a new foray for us. We've gotten into the healthy edible oils market. With the brand India Gate Up Life, we've gotten in two variants of healthy blended oil. Edible oil. And though the aspiration for us with Up Life is not really to get into edible oils, it's to create a platform solve for young India who wants to be healthy. So if you look at health, and you very rightly put out that health is the next thing in India, we are seeing a lot of trends where health is going to be very big going forward.
A deep dive into what matters to you the most. Angles you won't find anywhere else. News that impacts your life.
Welcome back. Mumbai has come to a virtual standstill. For the third straight day, thousands of Ola and Uber drivers have now gone off roads, crippling app-based cab services across the city. The agitation, which began on July 15th, has only grown louder, with over 18,000 drivers rallying at the Azad Maidan, raising demands that could very well echo far beyond Mumbai. They are not asking for much, of course. They just want dignity with their work. In fact, drivers say that they want fair parity with the Kali Pilis, yellow cabs, lower commissions, a fixed base fare, and a ban on unregulated bike taxis that are undercutting their earnings. Above all, they want the Gig Workers Welfare Act actually implemented on the ground. The impact, of course, can be widespread. Over 5 lakh daily users stranded, traffic chaos, long waits, rising frustration. Even Mumbai Airport has had to issue a travel advisory. But this isn't just the Mumbai's problem. From Delhi to Bengaluru, cab drivers have long raised the same concerns: exploitative commissions, shrinking incomes, lack of regulation, and zero safety nets. Now, what we're seeing now is a pan-India mobilization as drivers' union in Pune, Nagpur, even food delivery and auto workers are beginning to join in. Of course, many questioning why does it take so long for a policy to really catch up with gig economy? Why are platform workers still treated as disposable when they become integral, in fact, as of today, to our urban mobility? Joining me now to give us a little more insights into this is Krishna Hegde, Shiv Sena Eknath Shinde camp, who's currently in the ruling. We also have Prashant B, who's right now the national president, IFAT, and president of Maharashtra App-Based Transport Workers Union. Thanks very much, both of you. I'll start with Prashant. What do you have to say about this protest, Ola and Uber cabbies? It does resonate across India. Prashant ji, please कहिए आप पर इनका डिमांड्स क्या है?
देखिए, हमारे डिमांड 2016 से भी वही है और अभी 2016 से लेके 25 तक हमारी डिमांड एक ही है कि हमारे जो किलोमीटर के रेट है, जैसे कि अगर आप देखने जाओगे, काली पीली टैक्सी जो है मुंबई महाराष्ट्र के अंदर, ऑटो रिक्शा जो है, उनके रेट जो है ऑलरेडी सरकार ने तय किए हुए हैं। पर आज भी हम लोग पूरे राज्य में हम लोग का एक ही मुद्दा है कि हमारे रेट जो है वो 7 रुपए 8 रुपए किलोमीटर पर किलोमीटर का रेट हमें आज भी मिल रहा है। सरकार के पास निवेदन करने के बाद, कंपनी के साथ बातचीत करने के बाद भी हमारे रेट वहां के वहां ही रुके हुए हैं। हमें ये समझ में नहीं आ रहा है कि ये अत्याचार जो हो रहा है ये सरकार जानबूझ के कर रही है या उसके पीछे कुछ अलग से उनका प्लान ऑफ एक्शन होगा। रेट, किलोमीटर के रेट के अलावा भी हमारे जो सोशल सिक्योरिटी के बारे में है, अगर इनकेस अगर किसी ड्राइवर की डेथ होती है तो उसकी फैमिली को कौन देखा जाएगा उनको, तो वो लेकर बहुत सारे ऐसे मुद्दे हैं कि उनके टाइम आवर्स के बारे में 18-18, 19-19, 20-20 घंटा उनको ड्यूटी करना पड़ता है। इसके वजह से उनकी हेल्थ के बारे में, उनके बॉडी जो उनकी हो रही तकलीफ में है उसके बारे में बोलो। तो ये सब सारी चीजों को लेकर हम सरकार से यही बातचीत करने के लिए गए थे और हमारे महाराष्ट्र के जो ट्रांसपोर्ट मिनिस्टर है प्रताप सरनाईक जी, उनसे भी हमने यही बात की कि ऑलरेडी एग्रीगेटर गाइडलाइन 2025 जो है वो सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट ने जारी की है और आप लोग हर राज्य के अंदर उसको जारी करने के लिए सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट ने कहा है। महाराष्ट्र राज्य में हमारे ट्रांसपोर्ट मिनिस्टर जो है नितिन गडकरी जी, जो देश संभाल रहे आज, उन्होंने ये राज्य जो है महाराष्ट्र उनको ना देखते हुए बाकी के राज्य में उन्होंने, जैसे कि कर्नाटका हो गया, आसाम हो गया, ऐसे राज्यों में एग्रीगेटर पॉलिसी लागू हुई है। वहां पे जो किलोमीटर के रेट जो है बहुत अच्छे से मिल रहा है और वहां के ड्राइवर भी खुश है। गोवा जैसे शहर में भी आज किलोमीटर के रेट बहुत अच्छे से मिल रहे हैं, पर आज महाराष्ट्र जो है वो 7-8 रुपए किलोमीटर से आज भी गाड़ी चला रहा है। उसके वजह से
तो
आज आपने
प्राइवेट
देखा होगा
एग्रीगेटर्स को वेलकम ही नहीं करते हैं, गोवा में तो वेलकम ही नहीं करते हैं प्राइवेट एग्रीगेटर्स को।
नहीं, पर वहां पे किलोमीटर के रेट अच्छे हैं ना, तो उसकी वजह से ड्राइवर जो है वो बहुत हैप्पी है वहां पे कि कस्टमर को भी अच्छे से सर्विस दे पा रहे हैं। यहाँ पे हम लोग सर्विस देने के बाद भी हमारी सरकार नहीं सुन पा रही है। इसका कारण ये है,
आप बोल रहे हो कि बाइक टैक्सीज को बैन करना चाहिए।
एग्जैक्टली देखो, बाइक टैक्सी के वजह से आज हम लोग जो हमारी गाड़ी है उसका रोड टैक्स से लेके हर एक चीज सालाना हमें 40-50 हजार रुपए पे करना पड़ रहा है। आज बाइक टैक्सी जो है वो सेकंड हैंड 10-12 हजार में आके जो ड्राइवर चला रहे,
जो बाइक टैक्सीज कर्नाटका गवर्नमेंट ने जो बैन किया है बाइक टैक्सीज को, वो आप बोलते हो वो अच्छा मूव है?
100% मूव अच्छा है इसके लिए, क्योंकि एक तो पीछे जो बैठने वाले कस्टमर जो है उनकी सेफ्टी नहीं है, उनका ना इंश्योरेंस है। जो बाइक टैक्सी चला रहे हैं,
इतना एक्सपेंसिव है, कैब इतना एक्सपेंसिव है।
देखिए जिस तरह से सीएनजी फ्यूल जो है उनके रेट है, अगर आप देखने जाओगे कि मेरे पीछे जो बैठने वाला कस्टमर है वो भी सेफ्टी होना जरूरी है। इन केस अगर कभी एक्सीडेंटल डेथ होती है दोनों के भी, तो आज दोनों को भी कुछ ना कुछ
सही बोल रहे हो, मगर अगर लोगों के पास पैसे नहीं है तो वो क्या करेंगे?
मैडम देखिए, किस तरह से अगर पैसे नहीं है तो आज आपको पता है कि ये सालों साल काली पीली टैक्सी यूज कर रहे हैं, ऑटो रिक्शा यूज कर रहे हैं। तो अभी क्या गरीबी आ गई क्या महाराष्ट्र के और
जी, मगर आप उबर, ओला, कैब एग्रीगेटर्स को क्या कहेंगे?
हम तो यही कहेंगे, हम तो सालों साल से यही कहते आ रहे मैडम उनको कि एक तो आप लोग हमारे बलबूते के ऊपर, जो ड्राइवर आज गाड़ी चलाएगा उसके ऊपर उनकी कंपनी चल रही है, 20 से 25-30% वो लोग आज हमारे से कमीशन ले रहे हैं। हम चाहते हैं कि उसकी सेफ्टी क्या है। आज जो ड्राइवर आपके साथ काम कर रहा है वो आपका वर्कर है या पार्टनर है, इसकी व्याख्या ही नहीं है। हम चाहते हैं कि हमें वर्कर के रूप में बताया जाए करके, हमें वो हक मिले, वर्कर्स के बारे में हक मिले।
आप वर्कर हो, आप you deserve dignity, absolutely. What your demands are, it's appropriate and it's about time. Prashant ji, a final word from you of assurance. I know you've been doing a great job with assuring me even yesterday, today as well. You have another issue at hand. Mumbai is a financial capital. Cab services are your backbone for urban mobility. What's stopping the state government from enforcing Gig Workers Welfare Act? Krishna ji, I beg your pardon, Krishna ji.
See, I think the Gig Workers Act has to have a little bit of study because of the numbers. It's not only about 18,000 Ola and Uber taxi drivers, but even people like the riders in Zomato, Zepto, and Swiggy, Blinkit, all come under the gig workers. And therefore, if some provision has to be given to the Ola and Uber drivers, the same provisions and the same welfare or the same security or the same benefits will also have to be given to a few more lakh persons who are riders on the bikes for these other apps. And therefore, I think the government is having a thought process on it. The government is also constructive to their demands. But how Prashantji told me about the per kilometer rate, though I have different data with me, I would still agree with him. But let me tell you that, even our Minister, Honorable Pratap Sarnaik a few days ago, I think Prashant Bhai should know that he had stopped a biker who was doing a bike taxi and took a ride with him and showed that this is an illegal operation which was going on and put a stop to it. So therefore, the minister and the government both are constructive. However, I must tell you that, even with Ola and Uber, what hits them most, as I also have a taxi union of my own, is the commissions which the aggregator promoters
Which is why I asked him what he wants to tell the cab aggregators. But can the government step in on this, on the commission part, and push these aggregators to ensure they get the large sum of the profit?
See, the government was going to remove a uniform app for both the Kali Pili taxis and the Ola aggregators as well. They already have their app, and therefore we are going to streamline both these apps. And therefore, at that time, I think Mr. Kaustubh was the was looking after the transport thing, and then in the last government, Mr. Uday Samant was also looking after it, though Eknath Shindeji was the minister concerned and also the chief minister. But let me tell you that I must say that we are constructively with the, if they are an integral part of society, we do not mean them any harm. We want to give them the benefits, but how much would it cost the government? How much would it cost the exchequer? Is also a, amount which we have to look out at. Also, the fat commissions which the promoters of these aggregators take, like Ola company or the Uber company. I think some of them are paid possibly after days as well, and therefore it becomes difficult for them to run their livelihood, especially because taxi drivers or riders are not very rich people, and therefore we are sensitive to the issue. Even the Honorable Minister has said that we are looking into it, but we appeal to the Ola and Uber aggregators that Mumbai has got a population of 1.4 crore people, and therefore there is space for everybody. But to put the Mumbaikars at into a problem, especially when
basically you're appealing for them to call off this ban, and I think that's the moot point. But you've promised to look into the matter. Let's just hope you do. Yeah, absolutely. You've promised to look into the matter. Let's hope that begins at least on this show that's been established. So if there could be a common time and a place that y'all can meet and get this solved, maybe this could set precedents across the country, because cab aggregators across India are doing the same. Cab drivers are facing the same problem in every other part of the country as well. So Mumbai to set precedents. We're looking forward. Thank you very much, both of you, for joining us. Thanks very much. That's it for me here. You do have a great night.
एसोसिएट स्पॉन्सर डायना प्रीमियम ब्यूटी सोप, पहली झलक करे खूबसूरत।
What, according to you, is the big buzz as far as the world of branding and marketing and advertising is concerned, from where you sit?
Sure. I think 99 out of 100 marketers would tell you AI is what the buzz is all about.
Yeah.
And I won't disagree with it, but I have a slightly different point of view.